What's up, everybody? It's George from MCE, and today we're doing the first episode of MCE Cribs, where we're highlighting some of the baddest looking collection rooms out there. This is not about just what we collect, but how we display it. So we're here at my buddy Alan's house, and we're gonna go and take a look at what he's got. So come on with me, and let's check this out. Hey Alan, how you doing, man?
Hi.
Thank you for bringing me into your home.
My pleasure.
My pleasure. Fantastic, amazing looking display room. I've never seen anything like this before in my life.
Thank you.
So, how long have you been collecting?
About 6 to 7 years.
Okay.
Started. My first piece was the Superman premium format from Sideshow, and a downward spiral since then.
It does really take a lot out of you, right?
It's a very addictive hobby. Yeah, but it's fun, and the people are great.
Oh, cool. So, part of the thing that everybody gets, we're all getting into collecting. We all like to get these pieces, but part of collecting is displaying. And trying to make it. I think it's 50% of it at least. It's because you can have a really awesome piece, but if you just have it sitting on your desk next to you, it doesn't look as fantastic as something like this would look. So what goes into doing something?
Well, my whole thing, my background being a art director and a fine artist and a graphic designer, I wanted to display these pieces like if they were in a museum gallery. So consequently, the lighting was important to me, the depth of the cabinets, the whole presentation, not just the statue. I mean, some of these pieces, as we all know, are quite expensive, and it bothers me to put a $3,000 plus statue into open air, for instance, and it's going to be dusted constantly. So I wanted everything behind glass.
Okay.
And I had limited wall space, so the other option was to come out with deep cabinets and make certain that there was glass. And of course I wanted LED lighting so that we don't fade the colors of the statues over time. And I wanted the lighting to be movable on a mini track, and so I had to develop the entire system.
So you designed all these yourself?
Everything was designed. The cabinets were custom designed. I searched for 2 months to find a glass company that was willing to take on these huge doors.
Right.
And the lighting was months of research. Ordered this, ordered that, tried it, didn't like it, and finally settled on a mini track lighting system with MR11 mini track heads.
Okay.
And everything is dimmable.
So when you design these cabinets, do you design them with the idea that you're going to get pieces like these, or what were you doing? Would you buy the piece first and then design the display, or?
In an ideal world, yes. I happened to luck out, and I just figured I'd put the largest thing I could fit on this wall, and then hope for the best when the pieces start coming in, and it worked out okay. But it's quite a process. I mean, first I start with a line drawing of kind of what I want that's going to match my decor and so forth. And then it's getting my drawings over to a custom furniture builder. They take my drawings, they do a CAD, computer-aided design, modeling, 3D modeling on it, and then we tweak out what moldings we're going to use, what the actual dimensions are going to be, where the doors are going to locate, how they're going to pivot, and all of that engineering is done. And then from that point, then it goes into production.
What goes into how did you come up with the idea for the size of it? Like, how big is this?
Essentially what I did was figure out the largest size I could fit in this room and people could still walk through the front door. So we're dealing with 12.5 feet long, approximately 9.5 feet tall, and the doors are roughly 4 feet wide. Don't remember the exact dimensions, but they're single museum glass, tempered, frameless glass doors.
Okay. And then the shelving you're using, you said...
The shelving was done out of 1.5 inch thick solid with the track lighting system countersunk, so that everything is flush
Okay. And one of the things I'm noticing here also with the statues when you have them displayed too is that you have some of them on riser of some kind here, right?
Yeah,
so like Magneto over here.
Yeah, I've changed the elevation, particularly on Magneto. I wanted to give him the impression of floating. So he's on a flat black, essentially what was a 8-inch PVC coupling that was cut to the right height and then sanded and spray painted matte black so that it kind of disappears in the display, and it gives him the it raises him up and gives him a little bit more importance when you're looking at it. Otherwise he gets lost. He's kind of small with the other two characters.
Very, very cool. All right.
And
how do you decide on like what wood to use and that kind of thing?
well, you know, I let that up to their expertise. You know,
Okay.
most of this is all hardwood maple.
Okay.
And of course the columns and the corbels and all the moldings. And then once I get that nailed down, then that theme follows for the rest of the cabinets.
Okay.
So that there's a match. You know, the stain color is going to match, the moldings are going to match, the corbels, the crown moldings, and so it's cohesive when it's done.
All right, and then for your second major display, you have what looks like it is sliding glass doors. So the other one was opening doors. They open normally. Why did you decide to go sliding on this one versus the other?
The reason I went with sliders on this unit was I knew that the openings were going to be much wider, much longer, and the glass company pretty much told me that what I did previously was about the maximum that they could do with a hinge door. So instead we went with the sliding system. I mean, the doors are just like massively heavy. I don't know. I think they told me they're like over 200 pounds a piece.
Wow.
On these doors. The unit is 10 feet long, roughly about 8.5 feet tall.
Okay, and then with this particular display, you have Prime One Studios pieces, so these are very heavy pieces. So how do you go about like say you wanted to move this out and take and display something else in that spot? Like I know you have risers there as well, or
yeah, some of the pieces are on risers just to give them a little bit more prominence. Also essentially under every statue I have, I cut a piece of black felt and put it under every one so that if I want to slide one around or move it, I'm not scratching up all that woodwork.
Right.
Plus they're heavy pieces, and it just makes it a lot easier if I want to move one over a half an inch or however I want to do that. Being that they're on felt, they move around very easily, and I'm not worried about scratching anything up.
Yeah, it's well planned. When it comes to LED lighting, you said you went around and tried different ones. What was the determining factor picking these particular lights?
I needed an LED light that was MR11
Okay.
that would fit this track system with these heads, and they needed to be dimmable.
Okay.
And as soon as you go into the dimmable factor, you're down to only like 2.
Okay.
And unfortunately, what happens is when you get to that point, the one that you want is always the most expensive.
Is that what it is?
It's no
Even
matter
the statues is like that.
no matter what you try to do. The same thing with the electronic dimmer. I tried half a dozen. From $100 to $200, none of them worked. They would flicker, the lights would flicker, and nothing would work. The only one that worked, of course, was the most expensive one I could get my hands on. And that one worked. So here we are. I'll be living in a Sideshow box under.
All right, Alan, and then for your last display, you have these magnificent swords in an equally magnificent display. I mean, what I really love about this one is those accents you have on the side there, I don't know what you would call that.
The griffin.
The griffins.
Griffin corbels.
Okay. Yeah, that works with these swords excellently. What is different about this in terms of designing versus the other displays that you came up with?
Well, this one I didn't anticipate putting glass over.
Okay.
It just made it a lot easier, and plus I think sometimes things display better without the glass. And it's a much smaller cabinet. Essentially, constructed by the same company that did my other cabinets. But yeah, I got into the Lord of the Rings thing back when those movies came out, and the swords were just for me. I had to have them. But I wanted something kind of unique to display them.
Okay.
So hence, a little bit of a cabinet with some LED lighting, red velvet. It just kind of gave it a regal appearance.
Certainly does.
And it made a nice little centerpiece for this room when you walk in.
Yeah. Is there any difference in the wood that you chose here, considering that it's hanging on the wall versus the others?
It's all the same type of wood. It's
Okay.
all furniture grade maple.
Okay. How do you hang something like that on the wall?
It's done in pieces.
Okay. All right.
It's actually done in 3 or 4 sections that are hung and anchored in place.
All right. Very, very cool. Hey, well, again, man, thank you so much for bringing me into your home and showing me this. This is magnificent.
Thank you very much.
So, again, guys, thank you for joining us for the first episode of MCE Cribs. Remember, it's not just about what you collect, but also how you display it. And we're going to come back at you with another episode like this one pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, keep it marvelous.